Orcas off the coast of Spain and Portugal have been body-slamming boats, chewing off their rudders, dozens damaged.
How gentle they were when I stopped the boat.
In the past 3 years, hundreds of boat and orca interactions have been reported off the coasts of Portugal, Spain, and Morocco.
In the frozen expanses of the Arctic, two mighty predators stand as kings of their respective domains. The polar bear, with its unmatched strength, rules the land, while the orca commands the seas. Both have evolved to survive the brutal conditions of this frozen world. But what happens when their worlds collide? Will the polar bear's brute force prevail, or will the orca's intelligence and hunting expertise conquer the waters? A surprising discovery: polar bear and shark? In Svalbard, scientists investigating the mysterious deaths of harbor seals stumbled upon something that would rewrite everything they thought they knew about Arctic predators. During an examination of a Greenland shark's stomach, they found something unexpected: a polar bear's jawbone. This discovery raised eyebrows because polar bears are land-based apex predators.
Polar bear season in Churchill, Manitoba. Conservation scientists are out on the tundra, monitoring one of the most southerly polar bear populations in the world.
While Greenland sharks roam the deep ocean, the question arose: how did these two seemingly unrelated creatures intersect? After much speculation, the scientists concluded that the polar bear must have been weakened, possibly by injury or drowning, before it was scavenged by the shark. This unusual find revealed the harsh and unpredictable nature of life in the Arctic. The jawbone discovery didn't just challenge the scientists' understanding, it pointed to the fact that even the Arctic's fiercest predators are not immune to becoming prey. It wasn't the shark attacking the bear, but scavenging from its remains. The bear, likely weakened before the shark's involvement,
Coast of Spain, where 3 orcas hit a sailing yacht.
Shows how easily the tables can turn in the Arctic. Even apex predators can face an untimely end when faced with the unforgiving elements. When polar bears and orcas meet. When the Arctic's apex predators, polar bears and orcas do cross paths, it's never a straightforward confrontation. Instead, these encounters are typically centered around survival rather than rivalry. Polar bears, after days of hunger, are known to scavenge from orcas that have washed ashore. An adult orca, weighing as much as 6 tons, can provide enough sustenance to feed several polar bears. However, this isn't a typical predator-prey relationship. Polar bears don't venture into the sea in search of orcas, and orcas don't swim ashore hoping for a polar bear meal. The dynamic between the two is dictated by where they meet. On land, polar bears are kings, but in the water, orcas reign supreme. This division of power keeps these predators from regularly battling each other.
Polar bear expert, head of Arctic species conservation for the World Wildlife Fund, which is leading research into the bear's habits and habitats.
The few times these predators interact, it's rarely about hunting one another. For the polar bear, finding an orca carcass is a rare opportunity in an environment where food is hard to come by. The orca, however, is rarely at risk. Its domain lies beneath the water's surface, far beyond the reach of polar bears. In this case, the meeting is a matter of chance and necessity, driven by hunger rather than hostility. In the Arctic, survival is the ultimate goal. The cold, harsh conditions demand that every creature fight for sustenance, and the predators here are no different. While polar bears and orcas are both at the top of their food chains, the balance of power ensures their interactions remain infrequent. Their rare encounters remind us of the unyielding reality of the Arctic: adapt or perish. As orcas continue their fight for survival,
the first new southern resident orca calf appearing, now named J59, the baby coming as a sign of hope.
Polar bears patiently wait, their sharp eyes trained on any sign of chaos. In this unforgiving land, these apex predators sense weakness in others, and, when an opportunity arises, they strike. With orcas unable to escape and the ice closing in, a rare chance presents itself. It's not just about a fight for territory, It's about survival. Could the polar bear, with its unmatched strength, turn the tables? Turning traps into hunting grounds. In the Arctic, the food chain is merciless. One predator's misfortune often becomes another's feast. Polar bears are experts at turning the environment to their advantage. For instance, in 2015, off the coast of Norway, sea ice was thinning, trapping a group of white-beaked dolphins in a small patch of open water surrounded by thick ice. The dolphins had no way out, making them easy targets for a herd of polar bears that arrived to take advantage of the trapped prey. What followed was a brutal spectacle. The bears, accustomed to hunting seals, saw the dolphins as an opportunity, showing their adaptability and cunning in exploiting new sources of food. Polar bears have long been known for their ability to hunt seals, but as the Arctic continues to warm, their diet is evolving. In the Canadian Arctic, scientists have documented polar bears targeting beluga whales, particularly the vulnerable calves near Somerset Island. With patience and precision, the bears wait on the shore, striking when the time is right, pulling their catch onto the ice. These whales are a highly nutritious prize, offering polar bears the sustenance they need to survive in the increasingly harsh conditions. As the ice shrinks and orcas push further north, the landscape is changing. The balance of power between these apex predators is shifting, with polar bears finding new sources of prey in a rapidly transforming Arctic. Now, a hungry polar bear spotting a weak or injured orca could seize the opportunity without hesitation. In this shifting environment, polar bears and orcas are increasingly likely to cross paths. While the chances of a polar bear actively hunting an orca are slim, the possibility of a bear scavenging from a washed-up orca is very real. A single orca, weighing up to 6 tons, is a massive and rare meal, offering polar bears an enormous caloric boost if they can take it. But how would a polar bear even manage to take down such a large prey? The answer lies in strategy. Polar bears are not just relentless. They are strategic hunters. They've developed a chilling survival technique, burying their prey after a successful hunt. By hiding it under the snow, the bear ensures that it remains hidden from other predators, protecting its meal for later. This behavior, observed only 19 times, showcases the bear's ability to adapt and outsmart its competitors in the unforgiving Arctic environment. The changing Arctic, survival against the odds. Polar bears have survived in the Arctic for over 52,000 years, adapting to the changing environment. However, the rapid warming of the Arctic poses a new and unprecedented challenge. The ice is retreating, and their traditional hunting grounds are vanishing. With fewer seals to hunt, polar bears have become ruthless scavengers, hunting the carcasses of large marine mammals, like whales that wash ashore. These high-fat meals are essential for their survival, as the Arctic landscape transforms beneath their feet. The question now is not only how polar bears will survive, but how far they are willing to go to do so. As the ice continues to melt, these apex predators are being forced into new, more dangerous territory, pushing them to take risks they've never had to before. In this ever-changing Arctic, survival is no longer guaranteed. It's a battle that polar bears must face head-on. As the ice continues to retreat, polar bears find themselves adapting to new hunting techniques, expanding their diet, and taking greater risks. With their traditional food sources shrinking, these apex predators are not only becoming more strategic, but more desperate. The question remains, how far will they go to survive? Will the shifting environment push them to hunt orcas more often, or will they adapt in unexpected ways to the rapidly changing Arctic? Only time will tell, but one thing is certain. The battle for survival in the Arctic is becoming more intense than ever before. In the Arctic, every meal is a matter of survival, and polar bears are constantly adapting to the shifting environment. The orca, a massive ocean predator, offers a tantalizing opportunity for these apex predators. But hunting an orca is no small feat. It's not just a battle for food. It's a dangerous game of life and death. The polar bear must be ready to face a brutal fight, where one wrong move could end in disaster. Yet if the bear succeeds, it claims a reward that could fuel its survival in an increasingly hostile Arctic, a struggling Arctic, the fight for survival. For years, scientists have watched in horror as the polar bear's stable world crumbles beneath its feet. Melting ice, disappearing seals, and rising temperatures have left these creatures scrambling for survival. Yet, in the Chukchi Sea, a shocking twist emerges. Some polar bear populations are thriving. Around 3,000 polar bears in this region are feasting on an abundance of seals, proving that, despite the odds, they still have the will and the strength to endure. However, the broader picture remains grim. Across much of the Arctic, polar bears continue to struggle as their habitats disappear. The fight for survival is far from over, but this glimmer of hope shows that these creatures are capable of adapting to the changing environment, if only they can continue to do so. Tracking these elusive giants has always been a challenge for scientists, but now researchers have developed an innovative technique: using glitter. By sprinkling harmless glitter in the bear's food, scientists can track their waste, marking it for identification. This method is simple, fast, and effective, allowing scientists to monitor these powerful predators without direct interaction. While polar bears are evolving to survive, orcas are facing their own challenges in the Arctic. In the icy waters, orcas reign supreme. These ocean giants are sleek, built for speed, and capable of tearing through the water at over 30 knots. Their hunting strategy is a terrifying display of teamwork and precision. Orcas use their speed to herd fish into deadly traps, and their synchronized hunts can overwhelm even the largest prey, including seals and whales. With unmatched intelligence, these predators dominate the seas, using the water as a weapon. On the frozen tundra, the polar bear is the undisputed king. Unlike the orca, which relies on teamwork, the polar bear hunts alone. Its greatest weapon is its sense of smell, sharp enough to detect prey buried deep under layers of ice. The polar bear's powerful limbs can crush through the thickest frozen surfaces, allowing it to claim its meal. With raw strength and instinct, the polar bear is a lone predator, thriving in the harshest environment on Earth. When these two apex predators meet, the danger is absolute. In the water, the orca dominates with speed, strategy, and precision. It's a relentless hunter that strikes fast and leaves no trace. But once the battle shifts to land, the dynamic changes. The polar bear, massive and brutal, becomes the true king of the Arctic. With raw power and primal instincts, it is a predator unlike any other in the frozen wilderness. In the brutal clash between these two titans, one thing is certain: the winner will be the one that adapts best to the unforgiving Arctic environment. Nature's cruelty doesn't stop with the Arctic. Orcas, the ocean's apex predators, rule more than just the frozen waters. From the depths of Antarctica to the blistering heat of tropical seas, from the eastern North Pacific to the coasts of California and Russia, these deadly creatures have conquered every environment they've entered. They don't just roam the seas, they command them, hunting everything in their path, from fish and seals to the largest whales. Their speed is unmatched, their strategy lethal, and their hunger relentless. The polar bear, titans of the ice. In the Arctic, however, a different kind of power exists. Polar bears, the titans of the ice, are just as formidable. These massive giants rule the shifting sea ice, navigating treacherous, cracking flows with the precision of seasoned warriors. Relentless in their pursuit of prey, they adapt to the seasons. As the ice vanishes in summer, polar bears retreat to the year-round ice, their survival instincts guiding them through the toughest conditions. From Canada to Alaska, Russia to Greenland, polar bears reign as the undisputed kings of the Arctic. Their crushing strength, unyielding will, and ability to track seals across miles of ice make them the most formidable land predator. Every step they take in the harsh environment is a testament to their raw power and determination. On the other hand, in the depths of the ocean, orcas reign supreme. These predators strike with brutal efficiency, taking down anything that crosses their path. But what makes orcas truly stand out isn't just their hunger, it's their mind-blowing hunting tactics. Moving as one, they operate like a highly coordinated pack, with each member playing its part with surgical precision. The ocean ripples with their speed as they close in on their prey. Seals, unaware of the danger, never see the orcas coming. These underwater predators strike like shadows, swift, silent, and with terrifying force. Their strategy is flawless. They work as a unit, each move a calculated and ruthless assault on survival. The ocean itself seems to bend to their will. Once orcas set their sights on you, escape is impossible. Despite the orca's dominance in the water, polar bears are not about to let anyone steal their crown. These solitary hunters are just as formidable in the Arctic. Cold eyes scan the horizon as every muscle stays coiled in readiness. Stealth is their weapon, and they stalk their prey with the patience of legends, slipping through the snow unnoticed. While orcas tear through the ocean with relentless speed and precision, polar bears rule the frozen tundra with their sheer strength and unwavering resolve. These apex predators have mastered the art of survival, no matter the season and no matter the opposition. Polar bears move across the Arctic with a quiet grace, their giant paws leaving no trace on the snow. These titans of the ice know the terrain, the seals, and the deadly game they're playing with every step. Inch by inch, they close the gap between themselves and their prey, creeping closer with eerie silence. One wrong move, and suddenly a massive paw smashes through the snow, locking onto the seal with terrifying precision. This is the art of polar bear hunting: stealth, patience, and raw power. On the other hand, orcas are masters of the sea, living in tight-knit pods, usually led by females. These groups, ranging from 3 to 50 members, show unmatched social cohesion. In the wild, they move like a coordinated ballet, herding seals and even taking down larger marine mammals with lightning speed and overwhelming power. Their hunting strategy is unrivaled in the animal kingdom, relying on teamwork and precision to execute their deadly assaults. So, what happens when these two apex predators, each a king of their domain, meet? On one side, you have the polar bear, a lone hunter on ice, the master of seal hunting and opportunistic scavenging. On the other side, the orca, a sea-bound mastermind that rules the oceans with speed, power, and flawless teamwork. It's not just about size. It's about who can adapt best to their turf. And when it comes to the ocean, the odds tilt heavily in favor of the orca. While polar bears reign over the ice, they are out of their element in the water. Sure, they can swim and paddle through cold waters, but they can't compete with the sheer power and agility of the orca. Orcas slice through the sea like fighter jets, while polar bears, no matter how strong, aren't built for such an environment. When polar bears do manage to hunt whales, it's usually a rare opportunity, when the whale is stranded or weakened. These moments are fleeting, but for the polar bear, they represent a chance to claim a massive meal. However, in an all-out battle in the water, a healthy, fast-moving whale is simply too much for a polar bear to handle. The chase is one the bear cannot win. Polar bears are opportunistic hunters. They know when to strike and when to avoid unnecessary risks. For example, they even avoid squaring off against walruses in the ocean. Walruses are massive, up to 2,000 pounds of raw power with tusks that can grow up to 3 feet long. A single strike from those tusks could tear a polar bear apart. The bear knows better than to engage in such a dangerous fight. Survival of the smartest, the polar bear's opportunistic nature. Instead, the polar bear plays it smart, choosing the easier meals like seals, small, fast, and relatively risk-free. Why take on a walrus when a seal is right there, offering a safer, more efficient meal? In the harsh Arctic environment, survival comes down to making the right choices. The polar bear's strength lies in its ability to adapt, to pick its battles wisely, and to take advantage of every opportunity that comes its way. The game changes when a walrus is isolated or sick. That's when the polar bear shifts gears, eyes locked on the vulnerable target. It's now or never. A young or weakened walrus, with no tusks and no herd to protect it, presents the perfect opportunity for a polar bear to strike. The predator moves fast and furiously, but the walrus is far from helpless. If the bear dares to approach, the walrus is ready to defend itself, its tusks out, claws flashing, and the herd nearby, ready to rush in at the first sign of danger. If the polar bear isn't quick enough, the situation can turn disastrous. A herd of angry walruses could easily overwhelm the bear, and even if it manages to bring down a weakened walrus, the cost might be its life. In the Arctic, every decision counts. A single misstep could mean no second chances. That's why the polar bear plays it smart, waiting for the right moment to strike when the walrus is vulnerable. But when the threat is an orca, the stakes skyrocket. Orcas are a whole different level of danger, far more lethal than any tusked mammal. Sleek, powerful, and built for speed, the orca is a true master of the water. This is its turf, and with every flick of its tail, it moves with terrifying grace and precision, making it an unstoppable force in the sea. The polar bear may be an apex predator on land, but challenging an orca in its element is a fool's game. The bear might think it's tough, with claws that can shred through ice and a bite that can crack bones. But when it comes to the orca, it's outmatched. A polar bear could attempt to swat at the orca in a desperate last-ditch effort, but this wouldn't be a fight. It would be survival mode. The orca, too fast, too agile, and too deadly, would dance circles around the bear, making it clear that the polar bear doesn't stand a chance in the water. Despite the orca's overwhelming power, it doesn't seek out polar bears. Killer whales have a crystal-clear strategy. They hunt seals, fish, and even massive marine mammals like whales. These are the easy, familiar targets they know best. Polar bears don't even make it onto the orca's radar. While the orca's power could easily take down a bear if they crossed paths, it's simply not necessary. The orca is a strategic predator, focused on what it knows will get results. When it comes to the ultimate high-stakes showdown, the polar bear is outclassed in the water. The orca, with its unmatched size, speed, and hunting precision, holds its place as the true apex predator of the Arctic. While the polar bear may rule the land, the orca reigns supreme in the ocean. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.